So, for part three of our discussion about power consolidation, this time we're going to turn to the entertainment industry and I'm going to cite heated rivalry as an example. Hi, my name is Brian Kennedy. I am the mayor of Glendale, Wisconsin, president of Democratic Municipal Officials, and a member of the DNC. Follow me for local government and Democratic Party content. So, the entertainment industry right now is consolidated in the hands of a number of large conglomerates. Most of what you stream or see on TV or movies that you go to the theater to see, much of the music you listen to, are really in the hands of about a dozen large corporations. They've bought up each other and have consolidated and are basically their own sort of siloed powerhouses competing against one another for our attention. And Heated Rivalry becomes a really good standout example of a show that was produced that became a smash hit that did not follow the norm for how the entertainment industry is producing much of the content that we are now consuming. In case you've been living under a rock and don't know what Heated Rivalry is, it is a TV show, a streaming show that was produced by Crave Media, a Canadian company, and was picked up for distribution in the United States by HBO Max. And it chronicles the love story between two male hockey players who are rivals on the ice, but who secretly hook up and eventually start dating over the course of a decade. It's become a huge success for Crave as well as for HBO Max, and is now being distributed around the world where it's receiving a lot of accolades. If you go onto any one of the socials and do a search, you'll find tons of videos and write-ups that people are doing about the show. But I want to talk about how the show was produced because it actually plays into our discussions this week around power consolidation. You see, when Jacob Tierney had the idea to take Rachel Reed's book and make it into a series, he went first to the large streaming services in the United States. And what he found was they, as businesses, had a different approach than he did as an artist. They have their own focus groups. They have their algorithms. They know what works because they've been making a lot of content that has been successful. And so they wanted to dictate to him a lot of changes in his script. They wanted to dictate to him a lot of production changes and also who would be in the cast. If you watch a lot of streaming shows, you'll notice a lot of the faces you see are recurring. They are streaming actors who go from one show to another, often on the same platform or sometimes switching from platform to platform, but they're regulars. They're faces that people are familiar with, and so they know that they've been audience tested and the audience will approve of them. And that's how businesses work. I'm not trying to cast these entertainment companies as villains here. They're not. They're businesses and they want to make money. And they make money by marketing a product. And when you market a product, you don't necessarily take into account what an artist believes that product should look like. You take into account what you believe the audience will pay for or will invest their time in watching. And what Jacob Tierney found was he didn't want all those constraints. So he chose to go to Crave Media, where he had to work with a significantly reduced budget. He didn't have the flexibility to do a lot of reshoots and retakes and significant amount of time in the studio editing. He couldn't pick, a lot of expensive, high-priced actors to be in the show. He had to basically create something that was a step or two above independent filmmaking. And what he did was he was able to craft a program that so many people have bought into and have found to be so fascinating. And it's because he picked two actors who people did not know about, that really didn't have a history or a track record, and he's made them into stars overnight. They have become the characters that people associate now with Shane and Ilya. And that work that he has produced has received tons of positive praise from many critics because he was allowed to craft the product that he wanted. It wasn't a product that was going to be put before focus groups. It was a product that was the brainchild of the author of the books, the actors, and the director-producer working together. And so as we talk about power consolidation across a variety of different sectors of our U.S. economy and society, we talked about yesterday about journalism and propaganda. This week we're going to talk about prisons, incarceration, and criminal justice, and we're also going to talk about healthcare. The entertainment industry is no different. Most of what we consume in entertainment now is in the hands of a handful of large companies, whether it's a few companies that own or dominate all the social media that we utilize, or whether it's the handful of companies that own all the apps and streaming services and channels that we watch. So it's interesting to see something like Heated Rivalry break out because it did not follow the mold. It wasn't produced by some design studio in Hollywood. It was produced by a group of artists using unknown actors and helping them to put together a product that really resonated with a lot of viewers. So, in terms of power consolidation, the entertainment industry, no different than journalism, and no different than the things we're going to talk about for the rest of this week.